Welcome to Shakespeare FC, The Words, a 5-minute journey into the individual bits of language that were forged, fletched, hewn, and hammered, and sometimes crowbarred, into existence by our brilliant and witty Warwickshirian wordsmith, or, as you become more familiar, Uncle Will. I'm your host, Kari Marshall. What does a fierce French firebrand have in common with a Roman general's daughter and a virtuous Roman noblewoman? On the surface, very little. One, a battlefield visionary, Joan of Arc in Henry VI, Part 1. Another, a mutilated maiden, Lavinia in Titus Andronicus. And lastly, a patrician paragon of piety, Lucrece, in her rape thereof. But our fair uncle somehow manages to weave them together with a single adjective, a word that dismally drapes its dark and dreary self across their fates like a funeral cloth. But to further illuminate your understanding, we must paradoxically get rather gloomy, and Gallically gloomy to boot, or would that be boot? In any case, we must begin in Rouen. England, newly bereft of Henry V, of St. Crispin's Day speech fame, fumbles its grip on France as squabbling nobles back home spend more energy plucking roses for faction than defending their king's crown. Meanwhile, the French rally under the fiery Joan of Arc, until her miraculous aura fades and is subsequently captured, popped off her pious pedestal, and ordered to become kindling. In Act 5, Scene 4, Joan is confronted by Richard, Duke of York. Yes, that one, from the Wars of the Roses. And she attempts first to defend herself as divinely inspired, claiming heavenly visions guided her. She is then accused of trafficking with spirits. York denounces her as a witch and a whore, to which she has some choice words.
Then lead me hence, with whom I leave my curse. May never glorious sun reflects his beams upon the country where you make abode, but darkness and the gloomy shade of death environ you, till mischief and despair drive you to break your necks or hang yourself.
Break thou in pieces and consume to ashes, thou foul accursed minister of hell.
Joan curses her captors to live forever under the gloomy shade of death. Then Uncle Will would transport that shade to ancient Rome, where he would use the term in Titus Andronicus to describe the location where his daughter's innocence and purity dies its own death, following an horrific attack, asking her, was she forced in the ruthless, vast, and gloomy woods? The root word gloom more than likely comes from the Old Norse, glumr, meaning dusk or faint light, which became glom in the Old English, glom meaning twilight. It is related to glowan, to glow, so originally it referred literally to the fading evening light. But from around 1066, after the Norman conquest, Battle of Hastings, anyone? And continuing into the mid-1100s, Middle English would take gloom and attach the additional emotional teenage trope and baggage of somberness, sullenness, and melancholy into its dark definition. Fitting, really, as Joan of Arc was a teen herself when she was put to death. Not to mention the French also did come up with the term ennui. In Lucrece, the word takes on its most psychological cast, being both the hiding cloak for Lucrece's shame and the tomb in which she longs to bury her violation. So, as we bury Series 11, fear not, and refrain from gloomy thoughts, for we will be returning for Season 12 shortly.
Gloomy Sunday, with shadows I spend it all.
Well, alas and alack, my friends, that is all we have time for. Join us again next time for another hopefully informative journey into the mind of Uncle William. I'm Kari Marshall. Farewell until next time.
Shakespeare Full Circle is a production of WGTE Public Media and is sponsored in part by the generous support of the Cowie Family Charitable Trust and Michelle and Kelvin McElwain. All previous episodes are available at wgte.org/sfc and wherever you get your podcasts.